I'm sit.
Marcus brings the heat, no filter in sight. Jason's got the insights, always gets it right. Sean's the wild card with a laugh in the night. On FolkLOOR, they banter about the latest fight. FolkLOOR podcast, stories non-stop. Tim's aim and gossip, and Tech's new crop. Loud opinions, like a punk rock pop. Marcus, Jason, Sean, they never drop. Streaming wars and startup dreams.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the FolkLOOR Live podcast. I'm Marcus, I'm with Jason, and I'm looking for my music so I can turn it down a little bit. There we go.
We made it.
Well, we made it. We're live again, and just in a few minutes, we're going to have a very special guest, Billy Jack Animates, the one and only Billy Jack himself. Talking about his new show on LOOR TV, the Charli and Evie Translation, and we might have a few more special guests too, I bet. So that's going to be really exciting. But anyway, first, before we start, how's y'all's day going? How's y'all's week? Anything interesting happen?
I am holding my brand new granddaughter for the first time. And
you are in Hawaii.
I am in Hawaii.
Holding your first grandchild.
My first grandchild. So, life is good. It doesn't get much better than this.
It does not get much better than that. That is phenomenal.
They keep trying to come in and get her back, and I'm just not letting her go. So,
yeah, they're like, "Where's the kid?"
So the baby is being introduced to the world.
It is. Well, that is fantastic. I think, Sean, do you? Maybe this is the right time, but do you hear some music?
Oh, we're going right into trivia.
Is that what we're doing today? I think that's what we're doing today. Is that right?
I mean,
huh?
I'm not scared.
No, nobody's scared.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. It's time for Jason's Trivia Lesson.
All right, it's that time again. Jason,
it's that time again.
Today.
I have a good one today. I think it's a good one, at least. So everyone probably already knows this, but before 1975, when a movie was released, they did what was called a rollout release. They would make 10, 12, 15 copies of the movie, and then they would put it in vans, and those vans would drive around and release in different areas of the country, right? So a movie would be released in theaters for 18 months to 3 years as it drove around the country. And that's how movie releases work. But in 1975, there was one movie that changed all that. The very first ever wide release, where they released it on over 450 theaters on the same day. And within a couple of months, it was at almost 1,000 theaters. The first movie to ever break the $100 million mark in the box office. At the time, it was the largest release ever. The question is, what was that they invented the wide release? What ended up becoming the summer blockbuster release? What was that movie? So that's the trivia question of the day.
All right, and no one's ever got your trivia question right before you gave the answer, correct?
Correct, yeah. We had Tim knew one of them, and he just was too slow typing it. But
oh my gosh!
And Laura almost got it.
To explain to the audience, but you literally just flew into Kauai got to where you're at, you had 6 minutes to say hi to your brand new grandchild, and then jump.
Well,
on.
actually,
Yes.
to take the brand
To grab the grandchild, say,
Yeah.
I'll be in here on a podcast.
It's amazing. I mean, you haven't even had a chance to have like a pina colada or go to a luau.
Not yet.
And
Tonight, though.
Right?
I'm on Kauai. Yep.
Amazing.
Flew into the Louis airport, and I love it here already. It's my first time to Hawaii.
That's awesome.
What a good reason to go to Hawaii. I mean, there's a lot of good reasons to go to Hawaii, but this is probably one of the best ones, you know?
One of the best, yeah. Little Shiloh Ray.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know if I know we have our special guest waiting in the wings, and I'm very excited to have him join us. But I just wanted to tell you guys, I don't know if you know this, but this whole Taylor Swift thing, we got more fan mail. Some of it's not fan mail. There's some a lot of different opinions here. But I was going to read a few of them real quick because I haven't faxed them to you yet. You guys ready?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. You can FedEx it later.
I'm going to FedEx it later.
Yeah.
All right. So as you all know, big news, Taylor repurchased her entire catalog for about 300. Rumor has it 360 million, give or take 10 or 20 million. But this is from Randy in Barstow. Have you guys ever been to Barstow?
No.
It's the home of the original Del Taco. So before down, it's a great go there and get.
If you're going to be famous for something, that might as well be it.
Yeah. Anyway, so hey fellas, just wanted to write in and say I don't care that Taylor Swift bought her songs back for 360 million. I can't even afford a Costco membership right now. Also, I tried listening to one of her albums backwards to see if it summoned anything cool, but all I got was a message saying you should be listening to Aretha Franklin. Anyway, 300 hit songs about my exes remind me to copyright my feelings. Long live Kenny Loggins, Randy. Thanks, Randy. I like Kenny Loggins as well. Highway to the Danger Zone. Great song. This is from Tina.
Well, I want to talk a lot more about the Taylor Swift stuff, but we're going to do that next week.
That's next week. We're going to bring in our music expert Pierre because we're going to get that. This is from Tina in Des Moines. The S is silent according to the locals. Subject: Sailor Twift. Oh, sorry, that's my on-demand dyslexia kicking in. I don't know what that is. Taylor Swift now owns more than my dad. I heard Taylor Swift just bought her music catalog for $360 million. That's cute. I once bought back my IKEA bookshelf from my ex-boyfriend for a slice of Little Caesars and a bag of frozen corn. Explain why she didn't just do what the rest of us do when we lose our stuff. We cry in our Honda Civic and move on. Thanks for keeping it real. Your podcast is the only thing keeping me sane while I work at the DMV and try to pretend I don't know who Olivia Rodrigo is. Still Team Alanis. Tina.
Team Alanis.
I got one more.
I saw Alanis Morissette live at the Gorge back in the 90s.
Oh,
it was not. It's a great venue, but that was not a good concert. She was not good live.
She's not happy. She was never really happy.
No.
This is our final letter. Actually, there's 18 letters, but this is our final one. You might know this guy. You guys in the PNW. This is Clive in Portland, Oregon. Is that still a city?
It's still technically a city, but it's mostly homeless people and drug addicts now.
Well, hopefully this guy's not either one of those. Gentlemen, Taylor Swift buying back her own music is impressive and all, but I just bought back the mixtape I made in 1998 from a pawn shop in Boise. It's just around the corner from you, Marcus. It had 6 Counting Crows songs and one mislabeled Creed track. Total cost $11.50 and my dignity. Should I start a world tour now or just sue my younger self for emotional damage? P.S. When is someone going to go buy back Limp Bizkit's catalog and apologize? Respectfully, Disturbed, Clive.
Yeah. Well, around here, we stay up very, very late. So
There was a lot of name dropping there. A lot of bands I don't listen to, like Counting Crows and Creed. Those are no-go zones for me.
Yeah. It's wild because I think Counting Crows in the year that it came out sold as many albums as Nirvana that year, and you just don't think of them in the same category. But they were both big hits.
Albums that year. I don't know if everyone. I want to just share some secrets to all the listeners and viewers. But Grandpa over here is the drummer of a great punk band called the Stoics. And I actually went on Spotify the other day, Jason, and I listened, and it's really good.
Oh. We were in high school. That's my excuse. But
no, the band is really good. And that explains why you're such a good editor, because drummers make great editors. Anyone in our audience who's a drummer and an editor, they know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's all about life is rhythm. That's what I say.
Look, there you go. There's some rhythm.
There's some rhythm.
Well, that's fantastic, man. Look at you, man, from high school punk rock drummer to grandpa. It all.
You're the only grandpa I know in his 40s, by the way, and I'm very impressed. It's so good.
Well, hey, are we ready to bring on our guest?
I think we're ready.
All right, guys, everybody. I want to introduce you to the one and only creator of LOOR's newest show, now funding on LOOR.TV. The one and only Billy Jack Animates. Billy, are you there?
Hi.
Oh, and Charli and
I'm with
Evie,
the brains of the
writers
operation.
show.
They run things. I'm just kind of like the guy that draws pictures, and they tell me what to do, you know. But hey, was the trivia question Jaws? Did I ruin something?
Oh no! Is it Jason?
Jason? Did we leave Jason?
Jason
Jason
just.
I think I shocked him.
Well, he might have. He just came back. He's back.
There
Jason.
Jason, Billy guessed the trivia question. Is it?
Billy thinks he knows the answer to the trivia question.
Do you?
Yeah. Was it Jaws?
It is Jaws. Yes.
Oh my goodness!
That's right. See,
the first.
I know everything.
The first ever.
The first blockbuster.
Amazing.
Yeah, in the chat, I put a little shark emoji when y'all were talking about it, because I was like, it has to be Jaws. Dude.
It is.
See, I know things like that, but I don't know anything useful. Like, I don't know how to do long division. You know?
Hey, Billy Jack, you know you're the first person to ever answer one of Jason's trivia lessons?
I promise I wasn't Googling it or anything, I swear. I remembered in the back of my mind that Jaws was the original blockbuster.
You nailed it. You nailed it. Changed the way movies were released forever.
Yeah. All right, dude. Yeah, I just remember it ruined the beach for me forever. Still to this day. To this day. Probably there were a lot of kids that happened to. You've never seen Jaws.
Yeah.
They've never seen Jaws.
No.
When they re-released it in the theaters last year, I took my son to it, and he was like, the first thing he said is, "Oh wait, Dad, is this old?" It's like, "Yes, but it's good. Trust me." And then at the end, he was like, "That was amazing." He said that movie was amazing. I was like, "I know.
Yeah.
It is."
Well, let's we have the stars here, Charli and Evie, and so Charli and Evie, why don't you guys tell us about this new show you guys are making?
Billy Jack, tell the audience the story. You've been doing animation for a long time. You've got a tremendous following. I think over like 250,000 people follow you, and your cartoons, your animation's a huge hit. But you had this idea, and I love it because it was a way for you to include the family. Tell us just how this whole thing came about.
So the original thing I saw that kind of made me think about that as an idea was the girls were playing with their Anna and Elsa toys, and Evie had Elsa. Okay, Elsa's freezing Anna. And then Charli had Anna, and Anna said, "I'm tired of living in your shadow," and then picked her up and acted like she was shooting flamethrowers out of her arms, like she had latent superpowers of her own. And I was like, that's a way better sequel than Frozen 2 was. And I was like, that is amazing. And I thought that was brilliant. I was like, if I had been animating back then, I probably would have made a cartoon out of that, you know, and gotten my face suit off. But I just thought that was brilliant. I was like, these kids understand story structure, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know.
Yeah, you know what's funny? When I first saw the trailer for Frozen 2, I thought for sure the other girl was going to have fire powers.
I know, yeah.
And I was, well, yeah. Not only she's red hair, everything around her is fall colors. Like it just made sense. And I was actually really disappointed that never happened. But
it seems like
maybe they thought it was too predictable. But I don't know. I felt like it makes sense.
Yeah, I like the first one better than the second one. I'll just say that. Second one feels like they forgot their audience.
Yeah, so the idea for the Charli and Evie translation was really just, hey, my kids are naturally good storytellers. I think most kids have really great imaginations, and you wanted to basically.
Well, it's like when they fill in blanks really well. Like they don't just let there be a pregnant silence in the story. They're like, and then something crazy has to happen. You know, they understand that. You know, and Charli, she has a just an uncanny ability to. So we watched the original Jurassic Park the other day, and she's 7, mind you. So the original Jurassic Park, and when I was a kid, the scene where they're having lunch and talking, all the scientists are trying to tell John Hammond why this is a horrible idea. When I was a kid, that was the most boring part of the entire movie. It was like, kill me. And after we watched Jurassic Park, I asked Charli what her favorite part of the movie was, and she said it was that scene where they were all telling him it was a bad idea. And I was like, what are you? Like, I don't understand. Like, how's a 7-year-old even pay attention to that part, let alone understand what's going on? You know, it was kind of amazing. And that's why with the cartoon, they have a really good dynamic because Charli is a very serious storyteller, and Evie is a color commentator. Very good. As you can see, she's colorful as we sit here. But they're both like brilliant in their own ways, you know. And so it's, I don't know, it's just really fun. It's a blast, really. When I record them, I have fun, you know. And it just kind of takes off from there because the whole thing began with I recorded them telling me the Bible story, the original Bible story about the 3 wise men, and then I posted like a little 30-second clip of it to my Instagram stories with a poll, like, you know, should I animate this? My kids told me this Bible story, should I animate it? And it got like 100% yes votes on the poll, and I don't know how that's possible because at least 2 people voted no, but I guess it rounds it up. If it was 99.87, they rounded it up to 100%. So I was like, all right, well, that's good enough for me. So I was like, well, now I have to. And then it just felt like the thing to do. You know what I mean? It's way more fun. It's way lighter than you know, trying to make a show about the Book of Judges. That wouldn't come as easily. You know, there'd be a lot.
Hey, Billy, how long have you been animating?
I started learning animate. Well, so it's kind of hard to say because when I was in like grade school, I would do anything except pay attention. And so my parents had to buy like a dozen of the chapter books when I was in the 4th grade because I would just draw flip books up in the corner in the corner of the pages of like stickmen fighting with guns or something completely that I'd probably get like, you know, reported to somebody over now. But that was in like 1998, you know, so but so I was learning principles of animation all along in a weird way, just not in a formal educational way. So like I made flip books constantly as a kid, but I really started learning how to animate. I made friends with a guy at a Bible study here in town, and as it turns out, the guy's like a famous YouTube streamer, and he got famous doing these animated storytime videos. And so I asked him, I was like, "What, dude? Tell me what to get so I can do this. You know, I really want to do this." And so he had me over at his house, and he just told me the cheapest rig possible, which was an iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil and an app called CaliPeg, and that's the only thing I've ever used to animate. And even the stuff that it's not capable of, I kind of know how to make it do manually. You know what I mean? Like lens flares, I just do them the old-fashioned way, like draw them and make them do stuff. You know, but yeah, it's pretty. Hey, chill.
Wow, because like when you watch your animations, it looks like you had a team of 80 out of South Korea or something. I mean,
yeah,
it's amazing. Like
the artwork is beautiful. Should we play the trailer?
Oh
yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let me pull that up. This is the new trailer for the Charli and Evie translation. In 3, 2, 1.
But the 3 wise men were like, if you want baby Jesus, you're gonna have to go through me. And then they pull out lightsabers. I love the Bible. I'm Charli. I'm Evie. And we're making a Bible cartoon. Animated by Daddy.
Charli and Evie are going to be our unreliable narrators, and anything they say goes.
And they rode on ostriches.
What the?
Let's take this a little more seriously.
It's going to be kind of like that show Drunk History, except they're not drunk, at least not to my knowledge.
His name was King Herod. He's a dirty trash can full of poop.
Pink is a girl color! I've built up quite a following on Instagram and social media in general, and for a long time I've been trying to come up with a good framing device for me to use my cartoons as cutaway gags. And then one day my daughters were telling me a Bible story and it just kind of hit me. So I hope you'll be a part of it and help us fund it here on LOOR TV. It's going to be the Bible told by the mouths of babes. And if you like my other cartoons, you're definitely going to like this one. There's going to be a lot of screaming. A lot of screaming.
That's phenomenal.
Good job, girls. Good work, girls. You're good. You said I did all of it.
Are you guys excited about the show?
Did you hear his question? No. He asked if you're excited about the cartoon.
Yeah.
All right. What are you most excited about?
The part when he's a dirty trash can full of poop.
That's one of my favorite lines too.
It is. Is that a reference to Surf? Is that Surf's Up?
Yeah. It's a good description of King Herod, huh?
It is, yeah. Is that a reference to Surf's Up? Do you guys know that movie?
It absolutely is.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it when the little penguins, that's literally
it's a great, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, Billy, how many of these you plan to make?
The episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's infinite because they'll keep telling me stories, so who knows, man.
Just keep funding the show, and there will be episodes. That's the way it is.
Exactly. And, truth be told, no, I'll tell y'all off air. How about that?
Okay.
I don't know if I should.
Yeah. This is a really exciting show. I've actually watched Drunk History, and I was like, this is a really brilliant concept for a show, except for the drunkenness. And I couldn't figure out like what would be a way. I was actually thinking, I was like, what would be a way like you could take this same sort of premise, but leave out that part of it. And this really captures that and really well. And I just love how it actually, because that the way the stories are told, like Charli and Evie's version of the stories, this is not how the Bible story happens. It points actually subtly and in a very brilliant way to the truth of Scripture using satire. I think it's really phenomenal. It's a great concept, and I'm really excited to see full episodes funded on LOOR. By the way, last I checked, we had 5% of the first episode funded just this morning. So that's tremendous. And so if you want to see the show, go to LOOR.TV and just buy some loot and fund it. We just redid the website too, so you don't even have to create an account. You can just go in, purchase the loot, and fund the show immediately with 100% of your purchase. So if you just want to put 100 or 500 or 50 or $12 on it, you're capable of doing that now on the website a lot more easier and seamlessly. And just go and fund this show. This is a great project. I would also say, Billy, is what's it like to work with your daughters on this?
Oh, it's a blast. And one of the things I'm really excited about is that years and years from now, they can like, kind of reminisce. Like they can watch it again with dad, and kind of be like, wow, it sounded like that. I don't know. Like it's this generation has a whole other kind of, it's like we had baby photos, but we didn't have anything like where our personalities were complete. We had the, home cassette cameras, but,
right.
Usually those didn't capture me in the best light because I'd be opening Christmas presents and it was madness,
Yeah.
that was not the best way to see me when I was 6,
That's all right. I got my new Nintendo,
yeah,
and that's all.
Yeah, going crazy. There was one video of me on Christmas morning, and my sister was trying to record something else, and I just kept jumping in front of the camera, going me, and that's Evie. Like Charli is very much her mom. She get it from her mama, and Evie is like me 2.0, like completely. It's kind of terrifying. It scares me. I'm like, oh, man. Because my dad used to always tell me, he's like, the Lord's going to give you a kid exactly like yourself, and that's better than any punishment I could come up with, So I'm like, sure enough, I thought when she came out as a girl, there's no way, but I think even more so in a way, I'm glad they both look like their mom, though.
Yeah, Jason, do a baby check. How's the baby?
How's the baby check?
Oh, look at that little baby.
You were one of those,
Well, that's exciting.
You looked like that when you were little. Yeah.
Billy, what were you watching when you were younger? Like, what were the movies and the cartoons that you grew up on that you really liked?
Everything on Cartoon Network when I was a kid, like anything by Genndy Tartakovsky, like everything he ever did, basically, and then really, and Nickelodeon as well. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, that was like their golden era for cartoons when I was a kid. And and then on weekends I would stay up, till hours that I wasn't even supposed to know existed to watch like Toonami and all the anime, the early anime stuff that they were broadcasting on Adult Swim. When Adult Swim was like a brand new thing, Space Ghost and all that. I would stay up way late watching all that stuff, and I just like thought it was like magic. Like, how do they make cartoons? How do they make? I don't, like there's a kind of the Bible of animation is the Illusion of Life. It's like the Disney 12 Principles of Animation tome that I don't know how long it's been out, but it's like that's the perfect title for it, is the Illusion of Life, because that's kind of what it does. It's I don't know, and different animators all have a handwriting that it just screams at you, like you can tell that this guy did this just based on this one little thing he does, it's weird. Like there's a famous, like the guy who's kind of the Michelangelo of animation, his name was Milt Kahl, and he was one of the original like 9 old men at Disney. It's like a legend, and his animations in the old Disney movies, he had like what they called the Milt Kahl head waggle, which is where as like somebody's talking, Shere Khan's saying something, he goes oh as he's talking. And you see that everywhere in those old Disney movies because it was all, Milt Kahl doing it, and it was just how he put a little accent on everything they said in a way, it kind of punctuated things really well. But you want to sit on my lap? Sweet. You're a big kid.
Yeah, I think we underestimate the value of cartoons informing us as we grow up. I was talking to one guy, and he was in the military, and he served right after 9/11. And he said that if it wasn't for G.I. Joe and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I don't think I would have had the courage to sign up and go in the military. But when I was signing up, those were the shows that I thought about in terms of to give me courage to go out and fight. And so a lot of people see cartoons as just like children's content, like it's just and I mean content in the bad sense of the word there. It's bottom of the barrel, it's just for children. but they're so formative in the growth and education and sort of the worldview that a child receives growing up, that they're actually really important. And I think I think if it wasn't for like that golden era of Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network that you talk about, we wouldn't have the animation that we have today. But also, so many people got involved in animation now because they grew up watching that, and we've been able to use animation as almost an adult art form as well, and really get it out of the kid zone because of that. And it's been tremendous. I'm super excited for this project. I think it's tremendous. I'm very thankful you decided to run it on LOOR, and to allow us to be able to help you in funding this and getting this complete. And I just want to say to anybody that's out there watching right now, when you're funding this show, you're not just funding a TV show. You're really funding Billy's dream to be able to really produce the show as he wants with his kids. If this were to have gone to a major network or anything like that, it would have been a disaster, I think, in terms of the freedom that Billy needs to really be able to make this show in a way that he feels safe with his kids to do. And I'm very happy it's on LOOR.
Me too, man. Yeah, for sure. You were talking about G.I. Joe. There was a cartoon when I was a kid. It was the Conan the Barbarian cartoon. And in the opening title sequence, it had him standing on a mountain of skulls. And like I was like, yeah, this is a cartoon, dude. I would wake up at 5:30 in the morning on Saturday to watch that. But
it's the good old days.
Yeah. And for some reason, that's what it brought to mind for me. Like, I watched all the classics, G.I. Joe and everything, but it was like, when something like that popped up, it was like, I will wake up at 4:30 in the morning and eat Fruity Pebbles. Because like during the week, you couldn't get me up for school, but on Saturday, I was up early, dude. It was on.
Oh, I'm sure your parents were thrilled.
Yeah, they didn't know. I think they slept through it, They were like, yeah, let him watch his Conan the Barbarian cartoon while we sleep a little longer. Fruit Loops are over there. But yeah, because Saturday morning cartoons were it was a novelty, because Saturday morning was the only time you got it. And that, like, now you don't have that. Everything is just like, at your whim, but back then it was special, because you'd wake up early for it, and there was no school. And there was Saturdays where I had a soccer game that I was kind of annoyed. I loved playing sports, but I was also kind of annoyed that, oh man, I'm going to miss the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. Man, yeah, there's an obscure poll, but yeah, like, yeah, it's fun.
Well, yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to say about this project? Want to give us maybe a preview of the first episode that's going to come out and what that's about?
It's about the three wise men's, not the three wise men, the three wise men's, and all the stuff that they didn't tell you about in the Bible that happened with the three wise men. It's, a lot of stuff happened on the way to Herod and on the way to baby Jesus, and yeah, it's wild, dude. It's fun, but it's often overlooked. You're just like these three dudes. They were kings or something. They came from somewhere, but what else happened, bro? And Charli and Evie know. They know what happened. They got the inside.
They know what happened.
Yeah,
they're filling us in.
Yeah.
Billy, I was going to ask you. So you have a ton of fans. What do people like the most? Like, what are some of the projects you've done where people have just done backflips over it?
Oh, as far as like my cartoons, like my reels and stuff.
Yeah, like what's kind of what are people's favorites and what are people wanting more of?
It seems like people just like when I scream. Like people just love screaming. It's funny. Like maybe it's just I know that just screaming isn't funny on its own. It's the timing of when the scream happens and how the scream happens. But there's every time I post something, I'm worried. Well, I don't worry anymore about it, but I used to kind of get worried that somebody would interpret it the wrong way or take it as irreverent or something, and now I just don't care, honestly, because I know the Lord knows why I'm making it. He knows what I mean, and I don't know if anybody wants to rebuke me for, whatever, but, like the one where Thomas is touching Jesus's hand, and then Jesus like, ah! Like, starts laughing at him, like, I got you.
And that's all you doing the. Do you have anyone else helping you with the voiceover? Or is that all you?
No, it's all me. It's just me. Or something like when there's a little girl scream, that's them. I just have them scream for me. And like there's one with John where he's getting the visions of Revelation and he just screams, and that's Evie. Yeah, because I was like, me screaming this one's not doing it. I need a higher pitch. So they're doing some gymnastics for you. Y'all were planning on a floor show too, so you're welcome.
But the one that you did where getting a letter from Paul and his hand reaches out and slaps him in the face. Before we had ever met, my daughter had sent that to the group chat and said,
that's funny.
With something like, "Yeah, this is real."
That's awesome. That's funny. Yeah, yeah. And even that one, like people are like, that's not even remotely true. Paul, people quote Corinthians in weddings, and I'm like, yeah, but also,
yeah.
Some of the letters sound like Paul's like, I'm about to come down there and just, like getting fed up.
Don't make me come back there. That's what it sounds like. Yeah.
Some of the comments on that one I thought were funny were like, I hope this letter finds you before I do, and stuff like that. Every once in a while, there's a comment that's better than the video.
Go ahead.
My 20-year-old daughter, who is the one who sent that around to the family and saying like, "Yep, I've that." Captures exactly how it feels sometimes to read Paul.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of helps that I kind of think in cartoons. I don't know. All my life it's been a detriment, but now it's working out, so that's good. She's a cartoon. This one.
Yeah, you're our first podcast guest who has backup dancers.
Oh right. Well, I spare no expense. They dressed up for you. They put on their fancy dresses because they were taking this very seriously. But as I told you, they were only going to sit still for so long, and here we are.
Now I'm guessing by the backdrop that you're in some kind of a home gym, and that maybe you professionally also work in the fitness space, or you just have a really awesome green screen and virtual background. But
I don't work out. I don't like that. It's not for me. It doesn't work. But yeah, I've been a personal trainer since I was like 21 or 20, almost 21. So, pretty much my whole adult life. I started doing it part-time in college and never planned on doing it, for a living, but have, since then. And it's been cool. Like, I've gotten to meet so many people that I never would have even shared a room with otherwise because of that, like just from all walks of life. And it's really cool. Like it's given me a really good dimensional kind of perspective on people. I feel like I can talk to almost anybody because just people are people, and it's awesome. I think people are interesting. People are fascinating. It's like, if you look at a rhinoceros and you're bored, it's not because the rhinoceros is boring, it's because you're stupid. What I mean? It's like, the people are like that. And other people are rhinoceros. But, I feel like people are like that. Like nobody's really boring unless they're just, I don't know. Unless you can't get them to talk to you at all, then that's kind of boring.
It's got to be helpful too for writing stories and coming up with stories. Just getting to meet people from all different walks of life and that sort of thing. They say you can't. Jason, what is it? You can't write unless you lived. Or something like that?
You can't write unless you've lived.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I thought you said
write what you know, right?
Weights.
Yeah, you can't write unless you lift.
No, I know lots of people who can lift who can't spell their own name. So, but it's like, but for the girls, like this is my garage, and it's not a garage at all. It's like insulated and AC, and the car has never been in here. The garage door doesn't open.
Right.
But for the girls, I started working out of here. I worked at like studios and gyms and stuff like that forever. And I started working out of here about a month before we found out that we were pregnant with Charli. And Charli's my older daughter. And I was like, what am I going to do? But it ended up being the best thing ever because her whole life, it's starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, there'd be people coming over to work out and get to work, and because of that, they both wake up at 6 o'clock on the dot every day. And that kind of sucks sometimes, honestly. But You know, it's just like they're not, and they both know how to talk to people. You know, like they both been around adults their whole life. You know, talking to adults and interacting with people, and my, you know, to brag on my kids, but like my kids. No one ever goes, oh great, those kids are here when they show up. You know, they're very we all know the kind of kids I'm talking about, you know.
Yeah.
I was one of those kids, for what it's worth. I was one of those where it was like, oh great, that Jay kid's here. Billy Jack's here, great, you know. Yeah. But my kids are not those kids. That's what I was getting at.
Well, we're so stoked to have you on board with LOOR, and honored. We're real excited for this journey with you, and from all of us, thank you for putting your faith in us and jumping on board. We're so excited to see these come to life.
Me too, man. It's fun. It's gonna be a blast. I'm having a good time with it, you know. And I'm glad I get to make something memorable with my kids too. You know, they're gonna really like it.
How many dads can say they can do that? You know.
Yeah, I know, right? And also there's no downside to it because there's no bad experience to be had. Like if you're a famous actor and you want to make a movie with your kid, there's gonna be bad times making that movie. I bet, dude. Like, you know, like just, I don't know, being on a movie set sounds like it sucks, honestly. You know, I don't know. It's work with your kid, whereas my kids don't have to. You know, it's not work for them. They just tell me the story, and then I make the cartoon, and I tell them, "Oh, that's funny. Let's keep that." You know what I mean?
But I think just as parents to be able to create with your kids, whether it's the family cooking in the kitchen and preparing a dinner, or arts and crafts, or filmmaking, the bonds that are created on that level are just so special. And you know, to Marcus's point, you know, if you were doing this with a big outlet like Nickelodeon or Netflix, it would just be a monstrous team of people. You'd lose creative control, and you'd just be in maddening creative Zoom meetings probably 90% of your life. And it's cool to be able to do something like this where you could just be super hands-on and, you know, hanging out with the girls and still be at home. It's really cool.
Yeah. And with animation, you have to be able to call audibles a lot too, because there's times in animation where you're like, if I just switch the shot to this angle, it will save so much work. It's so much unnecessary work, you know, whereas you see it like now when I watch, you know, any kind of animation, I see like, you know, I get subtitles when I'm watching it in a way like where it's like, oh, I know why they did that. That was a brilliant way to do that because they saved themselves so much work, you know, like, yeah. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head, but I see it every day, you know, when I watch cartoons.
It's amazing when you think of like every creative decision, like you said, like audibles that you have, like if you were in a normal production environment, the layers and the, you know, how slow that would go, and how many decisions would get made that you weren't in favor of, you know?
Yeah. Somebody cooks in the kitchen, all that, you know, where it's, and also people that just don't understand animation at all. Like, you know, I was working on something with someone, and then the dude was like, well, let's see some B-roll. And I was like, there's no B-roll. Yeah, your mind, it's animation, like, you know, B-roll. Like, yeah.
I heard that about I actually heard that story about B-roll. Jeffrey Katzenberg, when he came in to start doing animation, it was with Disney. Yeah, he asked. He said, "Hey, what other B-roll do we have of this shot?" And all the animators like looked at him like, "What are you talking about?
Right,
You're a studio executive of an animation studio." And yeah, he had to learn. He came in and he had to learn all of that. I think that was for Little Mermaid. He was asking for B-roll for Little Mermaid.
we literally watched Little Mermaid this morning. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Dude, when I watch Little Mermaid now, all I think is, oh my god, all those bubbles. You have to animate all those bubbles. You know, they probably had a team of like 30 people doing just bubbles exclusively. You know, like I'm sure there's bubbles.
Yeah, I mean, think about like Ursula's tentacles. You know, having to animate all of those. The transformation of the beast into the prince is one of the greatest animated
that was amazing. That
transitions. Awesome. The guy that did that was actually a Christian, wasn't it? Who was the guy?
Yeah, Glenn Keane.
Glenn Keane. Yeah. He's he's done tremendous
he's
stuff.
a legend.
Yeah, for sure. So
I was just watching Samurai Jack, and he's talking, and then they cut into just his eyes, and my first thought was, oh, they don't have to animate his lips now. He's talking, and all you can see is his eyes. Is brilliant.
Gendy Tartakovsky he's probably the greatest at figuring out the most economic shots, and nothing moves that doesn't need to, and it doesn't look like they're cutting corners. That's the art of it, I think. It's like every time I watch anything he made, I think that, because it's like there's nothing moving that doesn't need to be moving, and sometimes the stillness is way more. It's like they say about music that the silence between sounds is more important than the sounds themselves sometimes,
Right.
And like if you have too much going on in a track, a song just sounds like garbage, but if you have I don't know, like Smoke on the Water is going to be or AC/DC riffs are just so simple and perfect. Whereas, if you listen to I don't know, some speed metal Dragon Force type thing, it's just like sensory overload after a while,
You're impressed rather than moved.
Right. Yeah. No one's at one of those concerts like dancing. They're all just like, scary stage. Like, whoa, dude. But at an AC/DC concert, I think it's crazy. Never been to one, but hey.
Yeah. Well, is Charli and Evie still there with you?
Charli's here. Evie is having.
Charli, do you want to tell everybody that's watching right now to go and fund your show?
She wants to see a contract first, I think.
She drives a hard bargain.
She wants an influencer deal.
Yeah, you can do it, Charli. I'll try it. No, she's got camera.
Hey, go to LOOR TV and fund my show.
Do it for me, Charli. What if I tell you you can have a chocolate? I'll bribe my kid right here on camera. What if I tell you you can have a chocolate? No chocolate? Okay. That's
all right.
Well, Billy, if you want to do one last kind of call to action for everybody about where to go and what it's all about, and then we can maybe we can hear the answer. Well, we already heard the answer to the trivia question. I just realized that. Jason, do you have another teed up?
The band is making the song right now.
Oh, good. Yeah, Billy, kind of give us the full deal on what people need to do, how to support you.
So what should I say? Come and fund the Charli and Evie Translation on LOOR.TV.
That's fantastic.
Perfect.
Okay. She's got stage fright, but she'll come out of it.
Oh, okay.
She's a natural.
No, it's totally great. She's a voiceover actress.
Well, I mean, she just got done doing a phenomenal dance routine. I don't know if you guys were paying attention.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
the choreography was exquisite. It was actually a wonderful performance. So great job.
She's a great narrator as well. Like in the show, she's our the main narrator, and Evie's kind of the color commentary. But Charli is like, the one that's doing the Batman voice and doing the really good narration. She's like a mini Morgan Freeman or something. She's really talented.
That's awesome. Well, the whole family has.
Stoic as she seems right now, she's really not.
Does Mom ever do any cameos for voices or anything?
Mom is kind of a ghost. Mom is real camera shy, but she's easy on the eyes. That's why they are. But I think the first time I ever posted anything with Mom in it on my Instagram, it was just a story. Like, I'm glad my kids look like their mom. And that's like, I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, that's the first time I've ever put my wife on Instagram, and she doesn't mind. Their mom is, she's Russian and German.
Wait, what?
The two meanest kinds of white people. And so, I don't know if that's okay to say, but hey,
You never told me that.
I never told you Mom's Russian and German? Yeah, well, I didn't know if you knew what those even meant, but she is. So are you. So how's that? Cool?
Yeah.
I don't know what I am. My last name's Jay. It sounds English, but, I don't know. I've never done Ancestry or anything like that.
You're poop.
I'm poop. See, now we're getting color commentary.
Charli, what do you think? Charli got dressed up for today's occasion. Billy Jack, you're wearing standard issue right now.
Always, yeah.
I like that.
I kind of, I kind of spring from bed dressed like this, and I even wear a hat when I sleep. No, I'm kidding. The only time you don't see me wearing a cap is on Sunday when I go to church. That's pretty much it. Just because it's easier to wake up and throw a cap on. I don't care.
Yeah.
But,
I think this is my first podcast without a cap, so I hear you.
Yeah. Well, the band is done with their song. It's called Charli and Evie's Tale. Charlie, would you like to hear the song the band made about your show?
They made a song about your show?
Oh, good. Well, I think this will be the debut, right?
Yeah, this will be the debut. Here
Yep.
we go.
Away the crowd they gather, they cheer and they roar. Charli and Evie, they open the door to a world where the magic and the legends collide. With Dad as the guide in this wondrous ride. Charli and Evie with hearts full of fire. Dad brings the stories alive with his choir. And Anita dreams in the glow of the night. Bible tales dancing in flickering light. Oh, the crowd they gather, they cheer and they roar.
Fantastic.
Charli and Evie, they open the door to a world where the magic and the legends collide. With Dad as the guide in this wondrous ride.
I wasn't expecting that.
With Dad as the guide in this wondrous ride. The whale's jaw wide like a box office king. Jonah dives deep where the echoes still sing. Evie laughs loud and Charli stands tall. The story's alive as the festival calls. Oh, the crowd they gather, they cheer and they roar. Charli and Evie, they open the door to a world where the magic and the legends collide. With Dad as the guide in this wondrous ride. La, 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 la,
This is a hit, Jason.
With Dad as the guide in this wondrous ride.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for tuning in to the FolkLOOR podcast. Go to LOOR.TV and be sure to subscribe and fund the Charli and Evie translation on LOOR.TV. And also, if you use the code BillyJack, capital BILLYJACK, you get 25% off your first month, and you support Billy Jack and the Charli and Evie translation. So, yeah, well, awesome. Look at that. It's fantastic.
How do we get a
It's great
copy of
stuff.
that?
Yeah, Jason will send it to you.
I'll send it to
He's
you.
gonna send
So-
it to us. That's
All
amazing.
right, guys. Thanks, everybody, again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you all next week.
Say bye-bye.